used in our beverage and production back to nature, or our commitment to sustainable packaging and recycling. Our goal is to one day recycle more PET than we consume with our new and world's largest bottle-to-bottle PET recycling plant in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which will produce approximately 100 million pounds of food-grade recycled PET plastic, which is the equivalent of 2 billion bottles, of 20-ounce bottles for reuse each year. That's 2 billion each year that will be reused. As our beloved and former chairman and CEO Roberto Cosueta used to say, besides being the right thing to do, is just smart business. We look forward to continuing to work with you and other leaders, both in the public and private sector, to strengthen the Latino community. Besides being the right thing to do, we recognize that a strong Hispanic community means a stronger and better America. I hope you enjoy the rest of the luncheon, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank. In addition to Verizon and Coca-Cola, we also want to thank Margarita Flores and Anheuser-Busch for sponsoring our network reception today, and also Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of the Latino Leaders Network. Thank you, Lydia, for being with us today. And I also would like to thank Howley Davis of CH2M Hill for your incredible support of the Latino Leaders Network. Thank you.
Now, before we serve the main course, each of our programs include a 3-minute opportunity for a Latino organization to share with us their good work on behalf of our community. Javier Palomares recently assumed his new responsibilities as President and CEO of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He is a seasoned former senior executive at several major corporations from Dallas who is already making a very positive impression in Washington, D.C. This week, Goldman Sachs unveiled an initiative called 10,000 Small Businesses to invest $500 million to support America's small and minority business community. This is a groundbreaking partnership that includes not only the USHCC, but also the National Urban League. Javier Palomares has been in town less than 30 days, and he is now on the advisory board of this initiative that is led by Warren Buffett and others. Please welcome the new leader of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for remarks. Javier.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon to everybody, and thank you, Mickey, for the wonderful introduction and the wonderful plug. It's an honor to be here. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. In the short time that I've been in this town, I've had the opportunity of meeting so many wonderful community leaders, and I thank all of you for your leadership and the fine example that you set for the rest of us. I also thank our corporate partners amongst us today, Coca-Cola and Verizon and Anheuser-Busch, who so generously support dinners like this one. And finally, I feel that we all owe a very special debt of gratitude to those around us and abroad who continue to answer the call to duty on our behalf. It is that shared sense of gratitude, purpose, and dedication to the mission that we are honoring, really, here today. I'm happy to represent the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the USHCC as it's known in most circles, where our people strive to advance economic and financial needs of the Hispanic business community. When you boil it down, our mission, simply stated, is to help our businesses grow, to improve opportunities in corporate and federal procurement, to put more Hispanics in corporate boardrooms, and to ensure that decision makers all over this country consider our community in their deliberations. At the USHCC, we represent the interests of nearly 3 million Hispanic-owned businesses across the United States and in Puerto Rico. And we do so con orgullo y con mucho gusto. Said another way, we do so with pride and with gusto. We recognize that small business is the backbone of this country's economy, and we are especially proud of the fact that Hispanic small business is the fastest growing segment of American enterprise. At the USHCC, we also serve as the voice for over 200 local chambers composed of community leaders in virtually every state across this nation. These leaders are driven by the mission of bringing economic prosperity to their communities and, by extension, to all of us in this great country. They are involved in all aspects of the mission, from improving schools to train the future entrepreneurs, to developing wealth management programs so our families can save for retirement, invest in their children's education, or someday maybe even launch a business of their own. Indeed, these local chambers and their leaders are the very foundation upon which the USHCC is built. At the USHCC, we promote entrepreneurship by facilitating community development and access to lending through programs like Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Businesses, the initiative that Mickey just mentioned, which will invest over $500 million in small businesses in America's underserved communities where it's needed the most. And while we remain cognizant of the fact that we are a business organization, we never lose sight of the fact that we are the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And that is why we advocate tirelessly on behalf of our community here in Washington and in state capitals across the nation. That is also why we do not ignore the predatory lending practices that are often directed at our community, and why we recently supported the administration in the creation of a Consumer Finance Protection Agency. And we will continue to push for expanded yet balanced regulation of our financial markets. That is also why we will not turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to our nation's healthcare crisis, specifically the needs of our community. And so we push for realistic and sensible health care that is business-friendly, yet equitable and accessible to all people. And we remain vigilant to the changes in our planet and work with companies like PG&E and Shell Oil and the U.S. Climate Action Partnership so as to be part of a solution that safeguards our environment for future generations while keeping our economy vibrant, green, and growing. Those are just a few of the many things that USHCC does and where I strive to take the organization with your help and blessing. This is our mission, and we believe it's a noble one. Noble because it keeps the economy moving, it keeps businesses open, and it keeps people employed. Muchas gracias, Mickey, y muchas felicidades. Thank you very much, everyone.
Our main course will now be served by the excellent team here at the Capitol Hilton Hotel. Before we resume our program, please help our servers by keeping the aisles clear. Thank you. We'll resume in just a moment. Thank you. We believe this event, the Latino Leaders Luncheon Series, is successful actually for many reasons. And perhaps chief among them is we start our program on time and we end our program on time. And we thank you for your cooperation. Senator Alex Padilla of California will now deliver a tribute to our keynote speaker, Secretary Hilda Solis. Senator Padilla was first elected to public office in 1999 at the tender age of 26 to the Los Angeles City Council. He was elected by his colleagues just 2 years later to serve as council president. He was not only the first Latino elected to serve as president of the council, but also the youngest. Elected to the California Senate in 2006, Senator Padilla is chair of the Energy, Utilities, and Communications Committee. Please welcome Senator Padilla, a member of the Indy Group, for a tribute to Secretary Solis.
Thank you, Mickey, for the kind introduction. I should tell you, the watch on my battery is kind of low, so it's moving slow, and those 3 minutes might just kind of creep a little bit. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all for being here. I will get to the point by saying that as a Latino and as a Californian, I can't tell you how proud I am of Secretary Hilda Solis. And it's truly my honor to pay tribute to her today. As what's on everybody's mind right now, it's a tough economy out there. And I'm not just talking about the policymakers and power brokers inside the Beltway, but for working men and women throughout America. And it's only fitting that the visionary author of the Green Jobs Act, which, by the way, provides funding for green-collar job training for veterans, for at-risk youth, for displaced workers, and low-income Americans, serve as the United States Secretary of Labor. But the story of Secretary Solis is nothing short than the American dream come true. She was born to immigrant parents who hailed from Nicaragua and Mexico. She was raised in La Puente, just outside Los Angeles. The Solis household was a union household. Her father was a member and organizer for the Teamsters. Her mother was a member of the United Rubber Workers. So we understand her unwavering commitment to working men and women. I can relate. My father, now retired, was a member of the Hotel Employees and Restaurant Employees Union. The Solis home was, as you'll read in her bio, within smelling distance of the Puente Hills landfill. And so we understand her championing environmental justice concerns. I can relate. We were within smelling distance and along the truck route of the Lopez Canyon landfill in the San Fernando Valley. Secretary Solis went on to earn her bachelor's degree from Cal State Poly Pomona and a master's in public administration from the University of Southern California. Her life of public service began in the Carter administration in the White House Office of Hispanic Affairs, and she went on to work for the Civil Rights Division of OMB before returning to California. In 1985, she was elected to the Rio Hondo Community College Board of Trustees. In 1992, she was elected to the State Assembly. In 1994, she became the first Latina elected to the California State Senate. And in 2000, absolutely. And in the year 2000, she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives to represent the 31st, which became the 32nd Congressional District. I highlight her biography only to make the following point. Her appointment as secretary was not a political appointment. I think anyone who has watched or worked with Secretary Solis would attest that President Obama must have been hard-pressed to find anybody more qualified and better suited to serve in this capacity at this time. But we do thank President Obama for appointing the first Latina cabinet secretary in our nation's history. And I'll close with this. When announcing the John F. Kennedy Profile Encourage Award in 2000, Secretary Solis was the first woman to receive that distinct honor. Our friend and hero, the Lion of the Senate, the late Senator Ted Kennedy said, "Elected officials and private citizens are constantly under enormous pressure from powerful forces in our society to get along by going along, to support the status quo, and to avoid the risk of seeking needed change. The extraordinary success of Hilda Solis in the California legislature shows the power of one person with vision, ability, dedication, and courage to overcome even the strongest forces of oppression and resistance. In so many ways, Hilda Solis has turned out to be the irresistible force that makes the immovable object move." The words of Senator Ted Kennedy, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Mickey, for this opportunity to pay tribute to one of my heroes.
Thank you, Alex. Having known our keynote speaker for many years in Washington, I'm enormously proud of her. For her accomplishments, enormously proud and grateful to President Obama for nominating her, and enormously pleased to present her now, the Honorable Hilda Solis, for keynote remarks. Madam Secretary.
Buenas tardes a todos, and good afternoon to all of you. I want to recognize a fellow colleague also who's been introduced already, Congressman Ruben Hinojosa from Texas. Thank you for honoring us by being here this afternoon. I'd like to also thank City Council member from Los Angeles, Tony Cardenas, for being here. Thank you. And to State Senator Alex Padilla, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and thank you for being here and being a friend and supporter from our hometown, Los Angeles, and California, our home. And thank you for reciting those words that bring tears to my eyes every time I hear Senator Kennedy, his voice, his wisdom. Thank you for that. That's very nice, very touching. And of course, former Congressman Bob Garcia. Muchísimas gracias for being here. It's good to see you. And to Mickey Barra, thank you for hosting us here and having this wonderful gathering. It's nice to see so many friends that I have not had an opportunity to see in some time. And it's not without wanting to see you. It's because we've been really busy at the Department of Labor. But I want to commend you on the leadership of this organization and the people that you bring here today, and especially all the corporate sponsors who make this event what it is. It's so important and so refreshing to hear the new U.S. Chamber of Commerce president talk so eloquently about your passion for the Latino community. I hope to engage with you and work with you with the Department of Labor